Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair video for you this evening. We are working on this really cool Bally Monte Carlo pinball machine from 1973. And this thing is loaded. It's got all kinds of stuff going on. So we, in the first video, we kind of looked it all over, got it plugged up. One of the complaints from the customer that owns it, we're fixing it for a gentleman, is that it was buzzing during gameplay. So we found that one of the buttons was stuck down. So this number 1 here was stuck down. So it's buzzing like that the whole time. Okay. So that was that. It's not buzzing now. We think we fixed that just by freeing up the button. But when the game starts, it looks like the number 1 and the number 8 automatically score. So there's something going on with that. And he said there was a problem with the ball count unit. It's not counting the balls right, etc., etc. So we haven't done much to it yet other than free up that stuck button. So I think I'll set up the tripod. We'll play it just a little bit and just see what kind of problems are popping up. We'll make a little list and then we'll try to knock them out. What do you think about that? Okay. So you yell real loud and tell me what you noticed isn't working right, okay? So we're going to try to reset it. Everything reset back to 0. Okay, we got a point, some kind of point thing stuck. It gave us 4,000 points. The number 1 and the number 8 lights are off, so it leads me to believe that those relays are tripped. Let me find something to write on. You folks stay right there, okay? I'm not going far. Notice how I'm speaking louder as I get away. That's right. I can go even louder than I usually am. Alright, so it's giving us random 1,000-point scores at the beginning of the game. So how would you figure out why it's doing that? Well, you can tell by the points, right? Random 1,000 point score at start. Okay, the number 1 and number 8, and it's consistently those two, rollovers might have something to do with that. I mean, it could just be that the number 8 is burnt out. The number 1, though, keeps coming on and then going back off. So when it resets, it must be trying to reset all of those relays. There's a big bank of relays right down underneath the playfield here that we looked at in the first video, and we'll look at again here in a minute. So at some point during reset, it must reset all of those and push them up. So it could be that what you're seeing is the 1 getting pushed up, and then maybe the switches aren't quite right, and they're touching and giving you some points or something. Who knows? All right. Boy, this is a cool game. This thing's gonna be cool. Okay, so when we make the top ones, it seems to be lighting up the bottom ones, so that should be a way to tell what's going on. Okay, so now we've got the 1 light on, but the 8 light is not on. But all of those times, none of these lights were on. So I think it's probably, those extra points were probably just when it was resetting it. Of course, why are we not getting extra points on the second ball and the third ball? That may have something to do with the original startup sequence. I've seen some stuff like that before. We'll figure it out, folks. You got to know what your problem is before you can fix it. Flippers are a little sluggish. Okay, so let's do that one more time. See if I notice anything else. We're getting there's a score motor noise, but then it sounds like there's some kind of other motor going on. See, the 1 light is on now in the middle. So I got 2,000 there, but I think that was just it scoring a bonus here. Yeah, so it gave us 2,000 points. There we go. Beat up those banks. Oh, what did I do? I'll tell you, this thing has some cool stuff going on. The way it counts the bonus is interesting. It seems like it starts counting the bonus and it reserves a spot for each relay. I've seen other games set up like that. So basically it starts the score motor spinning, and that score motor is going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, if like the third one is down and the seventh one is down, it goes dun 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 dun. It can tell just by the way the relays are done and the switches are if something should score. So you can hear it turning, and it only scores the ones that are down, but they're in their specific spot. And so they must have done some really creative relay logic to make that happen. And then another thing, at the end of the ball, once it does that, the lights don't all reset at the same time. They go... Watch the lights reset, if we can get some of the... Well... Yeah, so there's 2 motors I'm hearing. Okay, so watch. Oh, this is the last ball. It still might do it. Watch how it counts, and there will be skips during the bonus count because it's skipping the ones that haven't been scored. You'll hear 1 skip now because there's only 1 that hasn't been scored. And then watch how it resets the lights. Oh, it gave us all of them. So scratch that. Watch the reset. Oh, it didn't do it that time. Let's try it one more time. I want to see if it does that. Like I think it does it. There we go. That kind of told me something. See how the lights came back on? And then I got 5,000 points. So that had to have been from, there's some kind of timing thing going on. It's basically scoring stuff that's already dropped from the previous ball. And we'll look at schematics and stuff here in a minute. I'm just trying to get my mind around what's going on with it. This thing's got a lot going on for an EM. This is ridiculous. Okay, watch the lights. See if I'm tripping. Look at that. You saw that, right? How the hell did they do that? How did they make it where the lights reset one at a time? That's nuts. That's crazy. What a cool... I mean, they didn't do it just so because of the aesthetic of it. It has something to do with how the thing counts and resets. And that'll help us figure out why we're getting extra points. Oh. You hear that motor? There's two motors. Okay, so let's figure out some of these mysteries. What in the world are they doing inside of the 1973 Bally Monte Carlo pinball machine? So here is your score motor, very traditional. This is what you would see in a Bally normally. And I should have looked closer when I messed with it in the first video, when all we did was just look in the first video. But here is the relay bank I'm talking about, except it's not really a relay bank. It also has a motor on it. I thought I heard a second motor. It has a huge cam on it that can reset the relays. What a piece of work, man! That must have cost a fortune to design. I wonder what else they used that on. Surely to God, they wouldn't design that kind of a huge mech and then just use it on one game. I wonder if they use those in the bingo machines or something. I mean, that's just stunning. Look at that. Wow, what a piece of work. So let's look at the schematics. I want to see if it shows any of that, or if there's some kind of timing to it or sequence to it or anything. Okay, this thing is incredibly complex. So there is a score motor, you know, just like on most games. And the other one, they are calling... And again, this may have been used in their bingo games. They're calling a reset motor. So only two things can make the reset motor come on, or three things. One is the coin relay. So the coin relay pulls in when you put a coin in, or you start a game, basically. So when you start a game, the coin relay will be in, and that will turn on the reset motor. There is an index switch on the reset motor. So basically, once it starts turning, it always turns all the way back to its home position. And the other way to turn it on is when the out hole relay pulls in. So when the ball lands in the out hole. So this thing's actually going to be a very simple device. I think I can't find here on the schematics anywhere where it shows any kind of like really complex timing or anything. But that may change once we look into it a little bit more. But it looks like all they're doing with that is resetting all the relays. Now, on a regular relay bank, usually you just have a big, huge freaking solenoid that does it. But I think the longest relay bank I've seen is about 10 relays. Well, this one has 10 relays, but then there's about 5 or 6 other ones on there. So it's like 16 long or something like that. So it could just be that they didn't want to try to put one bar in there that tries to reset all those, so they just put a motor where it turns a camera around and resets them one at a time. But that also probably has something to do with how it scores or something. I don't know. Let's take a look at it and see if we can see anything interesting on it. Okay, so if you look close, the cam has these big spikes on it. And so as it turns around, it's going to reset these in sequence like we were talking about. And they've made them all, it looks like they're little pieces that clamp together, probably so that they can change the length of it depending on what they're using it for. And that's the index switch. So once the motor starts turning, this switch closes, which provides power to the motor. So the out hole relay can power the motor, or the coin relay can power the motor. But once it starts, it will power itself until it gets all the way around one time, and then that falls down in the hole. So that's that noise I was hearing. I thought there was something going on. And down there it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then it says bonus 6 through 10, all odds all evens. Odds and evens bonus, I think. Something. So there's several relays on there. I have never seen anything like that. Let me see if I can figure out if they were in a bingo machine or some other kind of game. So this is Bally's El Toro from the year before, and they use the same setup in it, but it's just smaller. So ELTORO, and then down here they have the same thing going on. ELTRO, TORO. So it looks like it was just a way that they kind of redesigned how a relay bank could work, and by the time they did this game, Monte Carlo, they just had it on steroids where they could put tons of relays on there. Okay, and here is inside of a Bally, Hawaii pinball machine. I mean, a bingo machine. We don't really work on these because they're just so complex. There's so much going on. You're only looking at about half of the stuff that's in it. They have these, just all kinds of crazy stuff. They have this huge mixing unit, I think it's what it's called, on the top to help it come up with random numbers, or what, you know, what is presented as random numbers. But looky here. That's an even more complex one. 1, 2, look, see how there's like extra switches like here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. It looks like there may be 21 separate relays and even more than that switch stacks on this one. But you see the motor at the bottom? So it's a holdover from their bingo stuff. I thought that's what might be going on. The bingo stuff is very complex. A lot of stuff going on. So they just took a part that they had already probably used for years in the bingo machines and put it inside a pinball machine, which is, you know, very similar. Wow. Cool. Okay, well now we just need to fix it. Okay, so I'm just trying to get my mind around how this thing works so we can understand what it's doing and fix it. So it's crazy complex, crazy complex. So there is a trip relay for each one of those buttons. So, you know, if you roll over number 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5, and you haven't tripped the bonus 6 to 10 trip relay yet, if you roll over any of those 5, so the switch is going to trip the relay and it's going to stay down. So that switch, the number 1 switch, will stay closed. Okay, that's going to provide power to the bonus control relay and turn it on. It's going to stay on as long as that relay has been tripped. So the only way it's going to go off is if the bonus 6 to 10 trip relay gets tripped, or if all of these get reset. So if one over here, if you were to hit one of these, the same thing would happen, but only if the odd super bonus trip relay hasn't been set, blah, 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 okay? And so all we need to know right now is it's going to turn on the bonus control relay. Now, why do they have this bonus trip relay, the other odd super bonus trip relay? Why do they have all that in there? It must have something to do with the way they score at the end of the thing. So once that is on, it's going to keep itself on until one of those goes off, right? But it can hold itself on through a switch on itself if the score motor turns too. So again, that's going to have something to do with them counting the bonus at the end of the thing. So basically, that reset cam is going to start turning and resetting all of these cams. And depending on if this is closed or whatever, it's going to control how long this bonus control relay is on. Okay, so that's the first thing that is going on. So at the end of the ball, the ball is going to end up on the outhole switch. And so since the score motor is not turning yet, power will come down through the outhole switch, and if the bonus control relay has not pulled in, then it has a normally connected switch on it where the outhole switch will turn on the outhole relay. Right? Now remember, the outhole relay is what turns on the reset motor that we were looking at. The out-hole relay is going to hold itself on until this switch opens on the score motor. That will start turning at some point. Okay, but let's say that you have actually scored some. You've dropped one of the. You've dropped one of the number one button relay. Well, as we just saw earlier, that means this bonus control relay would be on. So in that instance, since you've hit one of those rollovers, it would be connected over here because this is pulled in. So the switch, instead of providing power to the out-hole relay, would provide power to the bonus score relay. Not to be confused with the bonus control relay. So the bonus score relay is going to hold itself on through this switch until the bonus control relay opens back up. All right? So the bonus score relay is connected to the, or a switch on it, is connected to the 1,000-point relay. So that is now closed because the ball is sitting on the out hole and we have tripped at least one of the button trip relays. Okay? So let's say it's number one. So the number one trip relay has been tripped. So there is power now going to the 1,000-point relay because you just turned on the bonus score relay. Okay? And something, I guess the out-hole, well, not the out-hole relay, but the bonus score relay probably, is going to turn on the score motor and get it to start turning. So it's going to start turning, and when it gets to a certain point, it's going to momentarily touch through the trip relay and go bam and give you 1,000 points. And then the score motor is going to keep turning, and then it's going to get to the 4th position and it's going to close this one. And if the second trip relay is closed, it's going to connect through the bonus score relay and go bam and give you 1,000 points for it. And it's going to go boom, 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 boom. Now when it's doing it, there's some way that it's doing it over here too. There's a switch here that can change to say the 5 bonus 6 to 10 trip relays. So if the bonus 6 to 10 trip relay has been tripped, when this goes by, when it gets to, if this one trip relay being tripped, it won't matter because this will be moved over here, right? And then only if the number 6 trip relay has been tripped will it give you the bonus points. So I'd have to look through that some more to see how in the world it's doing all that. But there's a bunch of stuff over here as well that can do it. So that's another cam switch that's going to close as the motor turns. You can see what I'm talking about, it being very complex. So it just depends on if the odds hole relay is in, if the all odds trip relay has been tripped, if the all evens trip relay has been tripped, if the evens hole relay has been tripped, where the ball index relay is. I mean, there's a lot going on. So we don't necessarily need to completely understand it, but it looks like what's happening is when the game starts, maybe the bonus score relay is still on or something. That bonus score relay, when we start the game and it's turning the reset, the score motor is also turning. And so it is scoring points before the first ball because some of these are already tripped, right? We noticed that earlier when we were playing it. One time I had like 5 of them tripped, and so when it started the game, it gave me 5,000 points. It's because this is going through and going bam, 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 and giving you the points before that. So the thing that would prevent that, I believe, would be this bonus score relay being turned off. So let's see how that should be at the beginning of the game. The bonus score relay, we want to not be working. If I can even find it again. There it is. So at the beginning of the ball, we don't want this bonus score relay doing anything. But as soon as you turn on the game, the ball is in the out hole switch. The bonus control relay has not pulled in. So the bonus score relay is going to come on. Oh, you know what? The game over relay should kill all of that. So when the game is over, this should close and it kills power to everything. So you shouldn't be able to have the bonus score relay on. And while it's resetting, that switch should be open, which means that the bonus score relay shouldn't be able to get power. So there's something going on where that's closing too soon or something, and it's allowing this to power up if one of the, wherever we were looking at, if one of the trip relays is tripped. And since it's resetting and going through the reset motions, it's causing all kinds of problems. So at the end of the game, this is opening to kill the playfield, but during reset, this should open to kill all of this. It shouldn't even be able to score because, again, let's follow this line. See this? If we follow that, there is our 1,000-point relay. So we shouldn't even be able to score 1,000 points while the thing is resetting. So that's the switch. It's on the reset relay. Okay, folks, so I have put the playfield up and started a game. We're going to just poke through some of the stuff. The customer, I read their email, and they were mentioning certain things that weren't working, but it's just a couple. But I'm finding a couple more, so I'm going to fix them while I'm at it. This apparently is like a roulette feature, these numbers here. So some of these light up, and then it has to do with when you land in the hole up there, it's going to spot you those lights or those numbers or something. So right now, like for instance, 9 and 10 is lit up, but you can see that it's not staying on very good. The way that is done is with the 0 to 90 unit. And I'm kind of just stepping through it. And all of the bulbs actually work. It's just the unit needs cleaned so that they'll all light up properly. Okay? So it's this unit here. So this spider, if you look, it's just pretty dirty. So whenever I push on the little blade, the lights come on and off. So I'm going to take that off, clean that up, and that should get those lights where they work right. All right, folks, simply took that screw off, took the spider off, cleaned up all the rivets. I just use really light sandpaper. Don't go crazy on it, but get it nice and shiny again. And then that basically cleans off all of the old grease. And then we put new grease on. This is what we use. It's dielectric. That's what you want. This stuff is great. You might be able to get it at your local hardware store. If you want to get it from us, go on our website. Go to lionsarcade.com. And at the top, we have a parts page. On that parts page, we have a bunch of tools and things like that that we use whenever we do repairs. And it's links to Amazon. So if you follow any of those and go to Amazon, if you buy anything, even if it's not the grease, let's say you go in there and you buy a sports car, it gives us a piece of your purchase of a sports car. So we appreciate everybody that's been doing that. If you're going to buy anything on Amazon, use our link and it helps us out. So I cleaned it all up, put it back. Don't forget to clean the spider as well whenever you do it. And now you can see the lights there. 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 10 and 9, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. See, it goes all through it. So this is the odd number hole. And that, there's a saucer up there, that is the even number hole. So basically there's only one lit. There's two lit, but there's one odd and one even. So when you land in this one, it's going to spot you whichever one's lit. If you land in that one, it's going to spot you whichever one's lit. So it all makes sense once you start messing with it. Now you might be thinking, why are you spending so much time on light bulbs? Well, we're trying to get everything working, but also one of the things that the gentleman said was that the match didn't work. And the match is dependent on this wheel, the 0 to 90 wheel. And I'm calling it that because that's what they call it. See the little sticker back there? The 0 to 90 unit. So we've got that all cleared up and cleaned up. So it should be working good. Now on this side, on these, there are no switches. So it's just one coil that moves it around in a circle continuously. So if a light wasn't working, or a couple lights weren't working, well, these same pins, these same fingers, are going to control scoring, they're going to control the match, and all kinds of other stuff. That's why there's so many of them on there. It's doing about 4 different things at the same time. So we've got that all clean, and that's one of the components of the match circuit. So while we're doing light bulbs, I also replaced the number 8 bulb. Remember we were having that where the 8 and the 1 wasn't on? Well, the 8, it was just the light bulb was burnt out. Okay. One of the other things that the gentleman was saying is that the up post never lights up. So I took that apart and replaced the 2 bulbs. Let's see if when it goes up, if it lights up or not. Boom. It does. It's now lit, so we fixed that. Okay, one of the things he specifically mentioned is that the match never works. The lights never come on. It may actually score the match, but it's definitely, the lights are definitely not on. So right now it's in game over mode, and he's right, the lights are not on. So the game over light is actually right there. And that light and the match lights should turn on when the game over relay throws. So it is turning on the game over light. So power is doing this. So we might have some problem here. And these match lights, like I was saying, are all controlled by the 0 to 90 unit disc, which we just cleaned. And still no lights. So we're gonna have to find this and see if we can figure out. It may just be turned off. So this is the little Jones plug that you move over to turn it on and off, and it was on, but the Jones plug is filthy. So we just need to clean that up. So I'll hit it with some sandpaper. It goes down in here. And connects in there. So let's clean that up a little bit. All right, so that got our lights back on the match. What do you think? Pretty cool, huh? All right, so that leaves us with, he said that it goes from ball 1 to ball 3 on the ball count unit sometimes. So I'm going to watch that and see if I can get it to do that. And if it does, we'll see if we can track that down. Okay, folks, I wanted to read you this. This is very interesting. It's in the manual for the game. And it describes how the bonus scoring sequence works that we were looking at earlier. And it basically, this is the one thing that's really unique about this game over other EM pinball machines. So I don't know how many games they use that bingo part on, but here we go. Bonus scoring is awarded when one or more bonus light is lit and the ball goes into the out hole. So the bonus lights that light, it's going to be a tongue twister, are the ones down right above the flippers, of course. 1, the top rollover buttons trip respective trip relays. You hit button 1, it trips number 1. 2, a ball in evens or odds holes will trip relay corresponding to the light which is lit by the hole. So the odds hole is on the left, the evens hole is in the middle. Like we were just showing, there's a light lit up on each one at all times. 3, any of above trip relays will energize the bonus control relay. So if any of them get tripped, the bonus control relay comes on. We figured that much out. 4, a ball in the out hole will energize the bonus score relay when the bonus control relay is energized. We figured that out. The bonus score relay, when energized, will operate the score motor. We figured that out. 5. This is the kind of weird part. During the first half cycle of the score motor, the cam switches will score 1,000 points for each of number 1 through number 5 trip relays that are tripped, after which the bonus 6 through 10 trip relay is tripped. So why do they do that? They're doing that so that they can speed it up if everything hasn't been scored, I guess. If none of the number 6 through number 10 trip relays are tripped, the bonus control relay will de-energize and the out-hole relay will become energized since the bonus scoring is completed. So once the out-hole relay gets energized, it kicks the ball out. 7. If any of the number 6 through number 10 trip relays are tripped, the bonus control relay will remain energized, as will the bonus score relay. During the second half cycle of the score motor, the cam switches will score 1,000 points for each number 6 through number 10 trip relays that are tripped. At the end of the second half cycle of the score motor, the odds super bonus trip relay is tripped. Now remember, they are talking about the score motor. They're not talking about that reset motor that we were talking about. So I'm going to read this one again. It's starting to get confusing. 7. If any of the number 6 through number 10 trip relays are tripped, the bonus control relay will remain energized, as will the bonus score relay. During the second half cycle of the score motor, so the score motor is still turning and it goes through another half cycle, they're calling it, the cam switches will score 1,000 points for each number 6 through number 10 trip relays that are tripped. That was the part I was looking at where I was saying it only does 5 at a time. At the end of the second half cycle of the score motor, the odds super bonus trip relay is tripped. So that's on that big bank. So after it turns, so basically the score motor starts turning. The first time it turns, and they're saying half turn because that's the from home to home, and actually it's you saw it's a horizontal thing. But so it turns halfway around from home position to home position. The first time it does it, it's checking the number 1 through the number 5 relays. And it's going to give you points for each one of those that are down. And then once it does that, when it gets back right to home, almost to home, it trips the number 6 through number 10 bonus relay. Then it keeps going because the bonus control relay or bonus score relay, one of them, is still held in. And so the next time around, since that one relay's tripped, it's moved everything over, and now it's checking number 6 through number 10. Okay, so it runs around another halftime, and it gives you points for each one of number 6 through number 10 that is tripped. Okay, so now we're up to number 8. The bonus control relay will de-energize at this point unless the odd number trip relay is tripped or the all even number trip relay is tripped. Okay. So if you get like all of the evens on the playfield, it trips the all even number trip relay. If you get all the odds, it trips the odd number trip relay. If all odd number number 9. If all odd number trip relays are tripped, the game will score 5,000 points through the number 2 score motor cam switch. So it's turning, and it's only going to score that if that relay's down. So there's a switch that has to be shut on that, right? The game will score 5,000 points through the number 2 score motor cam switch. If not, there will be no score in the third half cycle of the score motor. So it'll keep turning, but you won't get a score. In either case, the evens super bonus trip relay will be tripped near the end of the third half cycle. So there's another relay that has a weird name. The evens super bonus trip relay. Number 10. If all of the even number trip relays are not tripped, the bonus control relay will de-energize. But if they are all tripped, the bonus control relay and the bonus score relay will remain energized, and the score motor will make the fourth half cycle. The game will score 5,000 points, after which the end super bonus will be energized and the bonus scoring is completed. So once the bonus scoring is completed, it does the where's the part where it says it goes to the out hole relay? The out hole relay will become energized, right? So it does that last. The out hole relay then turns on the reset motor, which is that long motor we were talking about, and it starts turning, and all it does is reset everything. And so it'll turn one revolution, which is enough to reset every relay on that, and it does them in order with a cam, and that's why you see the lights come on it in a sequence. Just incredibly complex, but you can see it if you think through it. It makes a lot of sense what they're doing. So they're turning the score motor around basically 4 half turns, which is from home position to home position 4 times. The first time it's looking at the number 1 through number 5 and scoring. The second time it's looking at the number 6 through number 10 and scoring. Then it goes and it says, hey, did they trip the all odds? Because if you get all odds, you get an extra 5,000 points. If it is, then it will give you the 5,000 points if that relay's down. And then it says, hey, so after it finishes the third, if the all evens is down, it makes it do a fourth. If the all evens relay has not been tripped, it stops after the third and switches over to the out hole and kicks the ball out and then starts resetting. Right? So the score motor is doing all the heavy lifting. All that reset motor, as it sounds, is resetting all of those relays. Very cool design and a way for them to handle that little problem. So what is the problem? The problem is you have 10 relays that all can score, but you only have 5 impulses on your score motor. So when the score motor turns halfway around, it will hit an impulse 5 times. So you have no way of scoring like 7. How would you score 7? You have to come up with some way to solve that problem. So the way they do is they do it 5 at a time. Very, very cool. This is something that a computer program could do very easily, but they're doing it with switches, people. On-off switches. Hello. All right, so we should be able to hear that score motor turn 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and then maybe a 4th time if we've got all the evens. And then after that, we should be able to hear that big reset motor turn. You can't see up here too good because, the back glass is missing. But hey, what else is new? I mean, on our videos, you can't ever see that too good anyway. Okay, so everything reset. Here we go. Oh, I didn't tell you about the relays being tied together. All right, so listen. 1, 2, 3, maybe something. I don't know. So when you score 1, it automatically drops another one because there's a setting. That up post really helps you. If I could get it to hit something. That shot over to the left is dead. Over to the right is dead. Look, there's nothing over there. Now that the gate's open, I'm all right, but... Oh. Yeah, I can hear it. It turns 3 times, and then the thing turns. It might turn 4 times if we get all the evens. So there's a setting in it called the 1 to 10 adjustment. And so they're talking about all these, of course, which is the main feature of the game. And you can, if you plug that in, which it was plugged in by already, so I'm going to leave it how it was, it shorts a couple of the relays together. So when you get 1, you also get like 4 or something like that. And when you get 2, you get 6 or something like that. So it just makes it a little easier to get all 10 because you don't actually have to get all 10. Oh. What was that? That seemed like it took too long. There's a nice shot, if I ever get to do it, up that left side. You can shoot up there and it land in the saucer, but if you hit it harder, it hugs the outside and goes past the saucer back up to the top. Very nice shot. Uh-oh. Whoa! They slid it right past me, people. There's really no skill shot on it, so you can just plunge it as hard as you want because there's nothing, you can't specifically hit anything really. You kind of just want the ball to go into that field. I mean, there's, at the beginning of the ball when you're plunging, why would you care which switch you hit? They all score the same, and you're just as likely to hit any of them, so. The pop bumper lights wig-wag back and forth. They alternate from ball to ball. Or it's actually on the 0 to 90 unit. So. I'm not doing too good. My gate's open. See the gate on the top right? Oh, I missed. But that's all right. I got more of them sweet rollovers. Look at that. So the way you open the gates is those two mushrooms over here. So this one or this one opens the bottom and the top gates. There we go. I want to get that little outside loop shot. All right, so that's the end of that game. I got 27,320 points. Let's see if we can do any better. And it didn't score extra points. We're on ball one. We're still checking that. There we go. They took it from me too early. All right, we're on ball two, although our ball two light is acting up. Oh, it's out of the socket. Well, I need to put it back in the socket. Yeah. Yeah. That's cheating, ain't it? Ain't that cheating? Oh, almost got them all. I need that number 8. So now we've got all of the odds. That'll give us an extra 5,000 points. Oh. Okay, so think about how does it score 5,000 points. The way it works is when the score motor's turning, one of the cams has 5 little bumps on it from home position to home position. So I keep saying home position to home position because the score motor, once it starts, it will only stop at its home position. So there's one on each side, right? So one of the cams has 5 little impulses in between the 2 home positions, okay? So as it turns, they can put switches on that stack, and those switches will close 5 times because they run over 5 bumps, right? So the way they've got this set up, you get 1,000 points for each light that's lit. So these are all of your evens, these are all of your odds. If you light all 5, not only do you get 1,000 for each one that's lit, but you also get 5,000 extra for having all the odds, and the same with the evens. So that's why they're doing it in different half circles, because there's no way to really score 5,000 points without closing a switch 5 times. There's a 1,000-point relay, and it just gives you 1,000 points. So if you want to give somebody 5,000 points, you have to close it 5 times. So there's different ways of doing that on different games. So sometimes the way they do it is they give you 2,000 points for each one. So it takes it forever to do that, though. It'll start turning, and it'll go ding, 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 ding. But the way this one is, where they're trying to reward you for having all evens or all odds, this is kind of an easier way to do it. So it's turning one time and doing the 1s through 5. Then it's turning the second time and doing the 6 through 10. And then the third time, if you have all the evens, it goes ahead and gives you the ding, 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 the 5,000. And then or all the odds. And then if you have all the evens, it does it a 4th time. Ding, 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 ding. So how does it cut out that 4th time sometimes? It must have that relay. If it's dropped, then it's closing a switch, which tells it to go one more time. If that switch isn't closed, when it gets to the end of the 3rd one, it kicks it over to the out hole relay. So it's just cool design. Let's hear it for the engineers at Bally, who, by the way, I've already complimented on 100 other videos. Way to think outside the box, Bally. King Bally, also known as the king of the bingo machines. Look at, I hit the switch. Did you see that? The only way to open that is by hitting this. But I hit the gate with the ball. It must have pulled the relay up, and then when the relay went back, it snapped it open. So if you hit the gate hard enough, it's enough to pop the relay open. There we go. I didn't quite make it. All right, 45,360 points. Let's play it one more time. We want to get all the rollovers. I didn't read the instructions because it's kind of evident by the playfield. Oh, man. Oh, no. And the instruction card is the wrong one. It's for a different Monte Carlo. There's like 10 or 12 games or something named Monte Carlo, something like that. Oh. We have a problem here in our store where they're not always level. So that it may be that way a little bit, but I did lose the ball over there before too, so. It may just be the layout of the table, too. It may lend itself to throwing stuff to the left. All right, 24,600. I'm going to show you something else here, too. I'm going to put you inside the game so that you can see the stuff doing its thing, and you can see that big relay reset at the end of the ball. I think you'll enjoy that. I think the word is charm. There's a little bit of the charm lost once they went digital, you know? There's just something cool about them. Let me show you one other thing that's really cool. It has these blinking bulbs in here that turn themselves on and off because they have a little filament in it that heats up. And when it heats up, it snaps away from it bends and snaps away from the heat, basically, and turns itself off, and then it cools down and goes back. But the thing that if you haven't messed with them, that you may not realize is they make a noise. It makes a little click when it does it. So they have a really old EM that has those blinking bulbs in it. So there's no computer to turn those on and off. It has to do it itself. So you can hear the little filament clicking inside as it opens up. So it's just again part of the charm that is lost, right? It's just little stuff like that. Very cool. All right, so there you go. That is Bally's Monte Carlo. Very complex game. Very well designed, well thought out. Just had a few problems that the gentleman wanted us to fix for him. There's other little stuff you could do to it, but it's playing pretty good. Everything's pretty cool. We fixed the issues that he was having. And I think it's ready to go back to him. So if you like the video, make sure to give us a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, make sure to give us a thumbs up. Put your comments down below. I try to answer as many of them as I can. And while you're at it, don't forget, check out my brother Donnie. My brother has his own channel here on YouTube. Joey and I work on arcade games, pinball machines, jukeboxes. My brother Donnie works on old buildings, vehicles, and he has a farm with goats and cows. So I'm over there with him on his videos a lot of the time. And a fun time is had by all. So we'll see you on the next video. I'm going to play this one a little bit longer. This is a cool table. I like the ones, too, that have like the gambling themes, like the roulette wheels and the cards and all of that stuff, and the pool and all of that. I love it. I love it. I'm a sucker for it. Oh, man.